Hi everyone, this is Jim. Welcome to this Blitz chess postmortem video. This is postmortem of my Blitz chess game number 193. I was white here and kicked off with d4. And well, let's look at the opening book a bit. My opponent played d5, one of the top choices, c4, c6, the Slav defense, also very popular. Now I play knight f3, the main move here, which stops the win-hour gambit. Knight c3 is also playable, but you do have to be prepared to face that gambit line, which is kind of interesting. Black plays knight f6, top move, and now I play e3, second choice after knight c3, but I just don't want to have to worry about, there's some complicated lines where black takes the pawn on c4, and after e3, white can just take back with the bishop. So it just makes my life a little bit simpler not to have to learn all those lines. Now, two choices here for black, top two choices, bishop f5 and e6. Both make some sense, but this is now a semi-Slav. And knight c3, the main move. And now bishop b4 is a bit rare. Normally just knight bd7 is played, and then bishop moves happen later. But it's not clear if this is too awful. But I just can continue my development. And now knight e4, this is probably... Oops, I'm sorry. He took first here, which displaces my bishop. But then knight e4 maybe is a bit of a waste of time. He's moving... a piece twice in the opening, and I have a perfectly good defense with queen c2, so it doesn't really help him, and I think he starts to fall behind. The engine rates this position as pretty strongly in favor of white. I'm going to leave the engine turned off because there were some interesting mistakes on this game, and I don't want the chess engine giving the answer away, so you guys get to think about it. Even though I won this game, I actually made a few mistakes where my opponent could have equalized. But I'm off to a good start with a strong position in the opening. Here, black maybe could try to hold on to the knight with the move like f5, just defending it and trying to maintain it on that post. But after I castle, it's not clear what he's going to do. I might just take the knight and double his pawns. But he decided to go ahead and take, and then when I take back, his bishop has to move back. And so now you can see pretty clearly that white has a big lead in development. So I just castle here, knight d7, and e4. And this is a typical move in this position. There's no need to reposition the bishop just yet. You wait and see how how black is going to deploy his forces. But you just put another pawn in the center, control all of these squares, just grabbing more space and opening a line for the dark squared bishop. So knight f6 is probably an okay move. It's all just a little bit slow because black is behind in development to start with, and he's just taken two moves to get his knight to a good square, but it took some time. So now I play bishop d3, setting up this little trap where I'm threatening to just push ahead with this pawn and grab the pawn on h7. So he ignores this threat and castles. He could have tried something else. The engine actually thinks c4 is a good move here, which is kind of interesting. c5. I could push on with this trap. Knight moves, and then I grab the pawn, and then he takes. And now it's getting a bit tricky here. But the engine recommends taking with the knight. And you can see what happens. This is a tactic you have to worry about with the bishop taking a rook pawn like that. Is white always has a possibility of trapping it with the pawns. But here the trap is not particularly good because of takes, queen here with check. And I'm grabbing another pawn here with the knight. And it looks like this turns out to be a very good position for white. So that's okay even with the piece sack. However, if I had played here pawn takes, then this position actually favors black slightly. He's going to have to move his king, but this pawn is defended, the knight is defended, and I'm not really attacking anything else here, and I am a piece down, so unless my attack kind of crashes through, in the long run black can get his pieces into the action and recapture some of those pawns. So it's just an example of how things can go wrong here after a tactic like bishop takes h7 when he hasn't castled. What's different here is he just castled, and now it's a easy easy choice because you don't have to worry about the trap. The point is you play e5, the knight moves, and you take here with check. The king has to move. Then you just bring the bishop back. And so you've picked up a pawn, you've opened up black's king side a bit, weakened it. So white's in pretty good shape here. And but the problem with being in a good position is sometimes, problem I have, I guess I should be specific, is I get overconfident. And when you get overconfident, you make moves that are not fully checked for all possible problems. So here's an example. My last move, queen e2, was a mistake, and black can get back in the game with a move here. So why don't you take a second, see if you can figure out the move. Okay, I'm going to give the answer away. This is an easy one. If you haven't got it, go ahead and pause the video and think about it. But the answer is there was a weakness to the last move here. When the queen moved away, it left the c3 pawn undefended, and he can just take it. So he hits him back the material. Maybe white still has a slight edge, but I'm going to have to move my queen again. And, you know, all this gives black some time to organize the defense, and he should be okay after that. So he played b4 instead. I took, he took. And then I played the move bishop to e4. Very logical move, getting away from the knight. And, you know, I'm preparing to attack on the king side, but I don't want to give up this nice light squared bishop. But this move again has a weakness, and so here's your second quiz opportunity here, your tactics quiz. What's a good move for black once again? Okay, I'm going to give the answer away. Pause the video if you want time to think about it. The answer is bishop a6. Skewers the queen and the rook, so it wins back the exchange at least. And notice that the knight on b5 there defends this square, so all this works perfectly. And it wasn't this tactic was not in the air until he played knight takes b4. Yeah, knight on b4 rather. But now this tactic is possible, and so if I want to preserve my bishop, I need to move it somewhere other than e5, perhaps c4, somewhere other than e4, maybe c4. So anyway, that's I went bishop e4, and he missed that tactic. He just retreated the knight to d5, and now I'm in pretty good shape. I just play my bishop out to e3, just getting it off the back rank, defending the d pawn, and then preparing some more moves on the king side, probably getting the knight out of the way and trying to get my queen over to the h file. But there's a much better move here, so this is a good chance. This one's a little deeper. So this is a good opportunity. You're white here, and you're attacking on the king side, so there's a chance for you to just test out your attacking instincts. And what's a good move for white here? So yeah, like I say, this one is deeper. Pause the video and take some time to think about it. It's a nice position to consider. Okay, I'm going to give the answer away now. You start out with knight to g5. And at first it looks like this just loses a piece. What you have to recognize is that you have this move queen to h5 check, and you get the piece back. The king has to move, and you grab here. So far so good. You're got your piece back, and but what's more is you've advanced these attacking pieces towards black's king, and that's really critical here. So in fact, in this position, he's pretty much lost. So, for example, if the queen moves, then you have a checkmate on h7. So that's not going to happen. But what else can he play? If he plays a move like f5, trying to shut down this diagonal checkmate, then you just take the queen, and you're just up vast amounts of material. So that's not going to help. If you play the move g6, then you can sack the bishop, then check, the king moves, and then you can take the queen. So once again, you're up material and just winning. So that's pretty much it. I don't think there's a good defense here. Oh, one other idea. You might want to just try and block the attack with the move f6. But this doesn't work either. Let's see, how does this go? Ah, yes, it's the bishop check. There's a mate in 3 here. You start with the bishop check. This is a typical kind of thing you have to watch out for. If you start with the queen check, the king can maybe run away. But if you start with the bishop check, the queen is guarding the escape square, and the king only has 1 move. Then you move the bishop back to g6, so the bishop is guarding the escape square, and the king once again only has 1 move. And then queen there is checkmate. So in this position, after bishop takes g5, not only have you gotten the material back, but you're going to win the queen. Basically, is the only way for black to hold on to his to not get mated is to give up the queen for a piece. So anyway, I didn't play that. I played bishop e3. Not a bad move, but not the best. He plays knight c3, and now that was forking the queen and the bishop, so I had to move the queen to protect the bishop. He trades off one of my attacking pieces, and then plays bishop d7, just trying to finish his development. And I bring my queen over, just trying to get into the attack. I'm looking at squares like h5 and h3 here, just to get onto it. h4 is covered by his bishop, of course. So he plays g6, which covers the h4 square, but it leaves this square on h3 open. Covers the h5 square. So this square and this square are covered, but h3 is still open. So I play the move knight g5, and now he's in big trouble. There is 1 move here, which allows him to continue to defend. So just as a test of your defensive skills, what is the 1 move that black can play to try and hold on the longest? Okay, I'm going to give the answer away. The answer is king to g7. And the idea is to clear the back rank. So when my queen comes over here to h3, then his rook comes over and chases the queen away. So white still has an advantage here, but it's not overwhelming. I mean, it's a winning advantage, but the mate is not happening immediately. So that's the best way to defend. My opponent played f6, and then there's a nice checkmate here after queen h3 check. The king has 2 squares he can go to. This square, both legal moves, but queen to h7 is mate, regardless of which square he goes to. So that's how the game ended. Hope you guys enjoyed that. There were some interesting tactical patterns there. And see you again soon. Bye.